Yeah, perfect.
So I should have the YouTube.
Why does a good man have to die? Another piece of shit to be born. Reasons unheard of tearing my flesh. My heart is ripped, my soul is torn. I don't care who you are or what you own. Not after evils I've been shown. Your soul is pure when your pockets are dry. My hate is seen in the center of your eye. Why does a good man have to die? Another piece of shit to be born. Your soul is pure when your pockets all dry. My race is made in the center of your eye.
Oh, we're good?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, we're good. Well, this is It Had to Be Said with Venus, Chris, and my guest Chad for tonight. Tonight we're touching all. You were touching all about penis.
She's touching penis. We'll just talk about it.
Yeah, they just got in their mouths. Chad's really quiet.
Well, he's got penis in his mouth. I mean, without further ado, let's just make it abundantly clear: this is not a show for kids tonight, guys. If you're under the age of 17, I highly suggest you go read a Barney comic or something. This is not for you.
It's for educational purposes. It will be graphic, but I mean, it's not really. It's a body part. Either we have it or we don't, okay?
A PowerPoint presentation directly after the show.
I'm sure you can find some pictures to add as we go.
Don't tempt me.
Oh, it's a challenge.
And there's Realm of the Mist taken off of YouTube.
Oh, well, shit happens.
That's it.
You can't handle the dick, get off of it.
That's kind of worth to live by, isn't it?
It is. You know what? This is so graphic already, and it's making me giggle, just to show my maturity level towards this.
Right. We're gonna have a mature conversation about penis.
Right? You can't have a mature conversation about penis. What's the medical term for penis, anyways?
Tallywhacker. Actually, isn't penis the actual term for it?
Of course, yeah.
Or did they have to degraphic it and call it the male genitalia?
As far as I know, it's always been penis is the scientific term for the body part, or appendage, as it were. But of course, it's got plenty of cute little nicknames: cock, boner, tallywhacker, wedding tackle, twig and berries.
I've never heard of half of those.
Willie the Wonderful One-Eyed Worm. The heat-seeking moisture missile. The throbbing python of love. The pecker.
The pecker is the one that's the biggest turnoff.
The spitting trouser snake.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, yes, so into this. Male circumcision. So today I got a huge blast on Facebook for sharing a post about male circumcision because it violates a man's right to his whole body, and you don't have his consent to do it when you give him a circumcision as a child.
Yeah, well, that's the argument. I mean, they say allow the child to, decide their sex and call them babies, but yet you're going to circumcise them. There's a real problem with that. And there's a lot of talk that it's basically what it is trauma-based mind control of the male baby at such a young age.
Well, no, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, trauma-based mind control is part of this, I believe, and also it has to do with the occultism behind blood, because don't forget, the priest will actually go down on the child and suck the blood from the bleeding penis. The rabbi. Yeah, I mean, if you didn't know that, that's a fact.
Right, but when we're talking about circumcisions on most babies, we're talking about it being done at a hospital, usually not by a priest or rabbi, which, if memory serves...
Don't let priests touch your children. Just don't let priests touch your children at all.
Most Catholics will tell you that. But quite honestly, I mean, when you think about it, it's usually done by a medical professional, and it's usually done, like with my son, it was done directly after birth. Now, the question I was going to ask Chad was two quick questions. One, are you circumcised? Because obviously I haven't seen.
Oh God, no. Yeah, I didn't need it. That was the story there. And I don't even know if there's any valid medical reason to do this to males. The truth is, well...
We had a technical difficulty.
Yeah, fucking Bell. Don't ever get Bell Internet. Just don't do it.
But no, Chad left off as he wasn't sure if there was a medical reasoning for it, and then that's when we lost everything. So,
sorry, guys.
Yeah, well, the medical community will tell you that the reason behind it is to prevent infection from developing. Because the area with the skin on it receives no oxygen and allows for growth of bacteria and whatnot. But I find that a very weak argument.
well, I mean, it's a legitimate argument if people aren't given proper care to that sentiment, but to that particular area. Like if you're going to leave the foreskin there, where it completely covers the head of the penis, and then you're urinating through that flap of skin. Not so much when you're having sexual intercourse, because most times when the penis gets hard, the head kind of pokes out like a turtle coming from its shell, But when in flaccid mode, it's completely covered. If you don't clean that area out, obviously you can get an infection from it. But it's no different than, like, say, for the sake of argument, like cleaning out your belly button. But the fact of the matter is that I'm circumcised. I was circumcised at birth. I have no memory of the procedure. It didn't traumatize me in any way, shape, or form. And quite honestly, until I was an adult and discovered porn, well, a teenager and discovered porn, I didn't know there was supposed to be foreskin there. How is this traumatizing to anybody outside of what I believe is, like, brain-dead feminists who were just finding something to bitch about because their bodies don't have to be, quote-unquote, mutilated at birth?
I think it's more men that are complaining about it, but these are like grown-ass men that had a cow over it. And it's like, look, you get it done when your baby's a baby. You don't need to have it done. Like, you definitely don't need to have it done. I was terrified of my baby's foreskin, okay? And, like, I was his mom, and I had to, like, take care of that stuff. And nobody gave me directions, and I'm here thinking, great, I gotta clean his penis. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this thing? I've never seen, like, I've seen, like, uncircumcised penises, like, obviously, but I've never had to actually clean it or anything. And so this guy's telling me that I have to pull back his foreskin and clean it. And it's like, it's not going back, and it's freaking me the hell out, right? And I was like, you know what? I've just had it. I'm just getting them circumcised. It's a lot easier to take care of. And I find out that, like, as babies, and when they're not using their penis and stuff, it doesn't matter because they don't really get infection in there. It's kind of self-cleaning until they get a bit older, and then they learn how to do it themselves. Pretty much is the time that they need to start cleaning it.
Well, the only thing that was, like, uncomfortable or traumatizing to the circumcision of, like, my youngest son was on my end, because you have to treat the area that was clipped. You have to put a special, like, ointment cream on it and stuff like that. And I used a Q-tip because I didn't really want to touch my kid's penis. But I mean, that was the most traumatizing part about it, was just the care of it, and that was on me and his mother, not him. He didn't care one way or another. He smiled and laughed through the whole thing. So I'm really losing, like. It seems like the dumbest thing in the world to bitch about. I don't feel like a full man because you took away 1/8 of an inch of skin off my penis. Are you missing that length? Like, what's the argument here? Your penis is cleaner and easier to take care of. Problem solved. What are we bitching about? Like, I'm missing the point. Somebody help me with this.
Because it violates your rights to a complete body. Well, okay, I clip my kid's toenails, which are completely useless too. Like, the foreskin doesn't really serve much of a purpose, and I mean, doesn't really cause many problems. Like, why can't parents just decide, I want my son to get circumcised? Like, I'm a woman, okay? Like, I know women prefer circumcised penises to uncircumcised penises.
There are some that actually like the circumcised, but more often than not, the consensus, at least that I know of, is that they prefer them circumcised. Yeah. Yeah.
So why wouldn't I do my baby a favor later on in life and be like, okay, look, you're gonna have a small one anyways. I could at least do this for you.
Damn. I hope your son never listens to this podcast. You're gonna have a small one. Thanks, Mom.
Well, it's hereditary, isn't it? Like the size of your penis, like.
God, I hope not. Well, I don't know. My oldest and my youngest are hung like horses, so proof that they're the mailman's.
But I don't know. I've seen babies with bigger ones, and I'm like, oh God, you're not that fortunate in life. Okay, so considering that there is a preference, yes, I'll do this favor, and I'll do myself this favor, and get it over with. And you know what? You won't have that problem later on in life. Not every man does, but I mean, if you have to go through it, like at your ages, I mean, like, how wouldn't that be traumatizing?
Well,
should that ever happen?
Yeah, that was something I said to you on Facebook when you first presented this to me. I'm like, I could see if, like a toddler or a teenager or an adult decided to go get circumcised, it being a traumatizing experience or whatever the case. We're talking about children. And again, like I'm missing the point here, and maybe it's my upbringing. Chad, correct me if I'm wrong here, but in my upbringing, what child has rights? Like, you have a right to live, you have a right to eat, sleep, have a roof over your head, clothes on your back, but until you're an adult, your parents make your decisions, not you. We're giving too much power to children and infants, no less.
Right, but on the flip side of that, the argument now is allow your children to choose their gender. Because the argument is consent. It has turned to consent. So essentially, I think what my position is you're not receiving consent from the child to undergo this process, this procedure. And again, on trauma-based mind control, you would not remember it if the mind control was successful, because those that are under mind control don't know they are.
Ooh. How deep does this rabbit hole go?
Well, yeah, because it raises a good point. Well, if you go under mind control and you have no idea you're under mind control, how do you know you're under mind control?
You've been successfully mind controlled at that point.
Well, they do freeze it and stuff. Like when I got my son's done, like they stuck a needle in his belly, and they said that it was to freeze the nerve in his penis, and he didn't even make a sound when he got his done.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
I wasn't present when they circumcised my youngest. They just brought him to me and he was done. So I have really no idea how the procedure went. But I mean, he wasn't fussy or screaming or like I would be if I got a little razor nick down there, whether off like I said, 1/8 of an inch of skin cut off.
Oh God, I one time got stuck in my jeans zipper when I was younger. Like, I wasn't wearing any panties because I thought, like, anyways, beyond that point, I got snipped in the zipper, and you know what? That fucking hurt like hell. But if that was frozen, I probably wouldn't have noticed a damn thing. I get a tooth pulled and it's frozen. No, I might hear the little like click, 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 or getting like a cavity drilled, and it's like in your ear the entire time, and that's what drives you fucking psychotic. But it's numb. You don't feel it. Like, my son wasn't shaken at all. He wasn't upset. He was a few weeks old when he got his done, and he didn't seem bothered whatsoever. Like, not at all.
Well, see, that again, it also brings up another point, like what Chad said earlier, that it's traumatizing or whatever the case may be. We're talking about infants and babies, and really, this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. I mean, we have grown people voluntarily having their penises cut in half and flipped inside out, or people who are threatening to mutilate their own genitalia because Donald Trump is president of the United States, or whatever their argument is, and nobody bats an eye, but a baby gets a circumcision, which has been going on since time immemorial, whether it was for religious purposes or medical purposes. This is the problem. I'm still stuck on how is this even an issue.
Yeah, they actually have like how-to videos. I've actually found this one 19-year-old. Well, he used to be a boy. His website where he started off with a penis, and like he slowly like had clamps around his testicles and stuff, and he chopped it off. Like, it was graphic as all fuck, and he was like chopping it off. And nobody has a problem about that because, you know, it's his right. But this baby, which has no rights, you know, it can't even feed itself, it's an issue again.
And just to let you know that Brian Miller has joined us in the chat under Star Wars Canon Podcast. Unfortunately, he is under the weather. That's why he wasn't on last night's show. He is commenting. He had stated that if I have a son and he's anything like me, he's going to be tripping over that thing. And also just means they won't reproduce. I'm not exactly sure when he shot those, and I just found out that he was talking on the chat. So welcome to the stream, Brian. Hope you feel better.
Hey, Brian.
So I mean, you know, that's the big thing that I'm like, with all the problems going on today in today's society, specifically with for lack of better, I know I'm going to get shot for saying this by certain communities, but especially with the confusion in the realm of sexuality, this is the argument. Yeah. Whether or not a useless piece of flappy skin is a right to somebody's body.
Well, go ahead.
Well, you chop off the umbilical cord. I mean, it falls off. I mean, do babies have a right to keep that too? I mean, it's just as useless as a foreskin.
Well, exactly. You know, that's actually a very, very good point. That's technically part of the baby and the mommy. Don't both of them have a right to have that intact?
Yeah, like they cut the umbilical cord right away. Well, if many mothers who know, like, who are educated on that stuff, know that the longer you keep the baby attached, the placenta, but they chop that shit right away, and you don't.
Medical points of view, or whatever else. When it comes to the situation, what you do with your child is your business. Just like how you raise your child is your business until it, you know, starts attacking us. You know what I mean? In a sense of like, if you're raising your child to be a bully and your child is bullying my child, then it becomes our business. But outside of that, whether you got your kid circumcised or not, that's none of my concern. That's between you and him, and later on him and whatever girl is lucky enough to see him with his pants down. I mean, or guy. It's modern day. You know, so I'm really missing where this is such an outrage to people.
Like, do you cut your kid's hair without their consent? No, most of the time you hold the little fucker down and you strap him down pretty much and you chop his hair off or her hair off. There's no debate about it. You're getting a haircut, you're getting a haircut. The kids doesn't get consent about that.
And maybe it's just me because, you know, again, I relate. I'm a circumcised male. And I never once woke up feeling like I'm half a man or that I was violated in some way because they clipped me. I'm missing it, guys. Down in the section down below. I mean, if that's the comment section, if you understand what this argument's about, please let me know because I'm really missing it. I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. I think it's definitely showing how nutty the world is going. But I do not see the issue of this.
No, I mean, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. Like when you're an adult. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, your parents chopped it off for you, or they didn't? I mean, you kind of grow up realizing that it's there or it's not. I mean, when you're sitting in the boys' change room, it's like, oh, hey, like, nice job they did for you. or like, hey, that doesn't look so bad. I don't really know. I've never really been in that position, but...
Brian says my mother, the psycho that she is, kept a little plastic ring that was on my peppy after it was circumcised. He says he's learning so much from this stream, and he says, I hope I have a girl.
Oh, it's definitely easier to have a girl. Girls are like, oh my god, yeah, boys' penises, like, as babies, like, those things are like fire hoses. They just do whatever they want. Like, honestly, like, when my son was born, within 12 hours, he peed in his own face. Like,
see, I was smart about it. I was able to, I held the fresh diaper up over it as I was pulling the bad diaper, you know, away. So that way, if he did hose, he was just hosing the diaper.
Oh, I was just in the hospital, like, just had him, and it's a few hours later, and, like, I'm changing his diaper, and I'm tired as all hell after giving birth, and, you know, he's only, like, a few hours old, and I turn away to, like, grab whatever, and all I hear is like splashing. I look over, and there's his face, and he's like licking, like he's peeing in his face, and his poor kid's like practically eating it. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's funny. The only time I ever got peed on, because like my daughter ruined soft serve ice cream for me because of changing her diaper one time, and I pulled the diaper away, and right as I did, she's getting ready to go, and I just happened to get a new diaper under fast enough, and it came out like Dairy Queen soft served ice cream cone ice cream. It would. Since then I can't get an ice cream cone. I get blizzards.
Oh my gosh.
But the only time I ever got peed on by my children, honestly, was when my daughter was a toddler. And we were walking through the woods, the local woods in the area, and she had to go to the bathroom, and I told her just, go behind a bush and go. And she couldn't position herself with her pants down to not pee on her pants, so I came over to help her out, and I grabbed the pants and underwear to pull them forward, and as I did so, she let loose and just pissed all over my arm.
I don't think you can't be a parent without getting peed on at least once.
Yeah, but you expect it from an infant, not like a 4 or 5 year old.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't have control. If you gotta go, you gotta go, And if she's in the bush or like wherever, she's probably been holding it for a little while before she even brought it up. So she's really got to go when she says she's got to go.
Yeah, exactly. But, I didn't make a big deal out of it because I didn't want to freak her out. She was already freaked out enough about going in the woods and stuff. But after it was done and we got home, I took the longest shower of my life because I'm like, I feel so dirty. I just got pissed on by my daughter.
Oh, my God. Well, this got more potty humor, eh? Never not hit the potty humor button.
Oh, Lord. So, yeah, what else is on the docket, Venus?
Speaking of... Sorry, go ahead, Chad.
Well, I'm just doing a little research, and it turns out that male circumcision was practiced as a religious rite, and it's found in Hebrew Bible as part of the Abrahamic covenant, and also Genesis 17. And is therefore practiced by Jews, Muslims, and some Christians who constitute the Abrahamic religions as a token, it says here, of their everlasting faith in God, as a covenant of their flesh. Those who were not circumcised were to be cut off from their people. So I find that pretty bizarre that it looks like it stemmed from religious beliefs and not from medical necessities.
Well, see,
actually... I think like why they started it was because a man had to give up part of his manhood or part of himself to God in order to get into heaven or something like crazy like that.
See, I never knew the full breakdown of it, but I knew it was started as a tradition by the Jewish faith, the Brie, as it were. But I couldn't begin to tell you why it became like, well, wait a minute, this is actually medically beneficial in some way because some people were gaining, whatever diseases from not cleaning it right, getting all that schmegma all stuck in there and shit like that. But I mean, I knew it started as a religious rite.
Yeah, it was your ticket into heaven.
So, I still think there's an argument to be made in terms of consent, where now they're saying we want to allow a child to choose which gender they are, because they're not consenting whether to be a male or a female, but yet it's okay to circumcise them. There's a problem with that logic.
Well, the thing is like maybe I'm the wrong person to have that conversation with because I don't think there is an argument on choosing gender. You are what you are.
No, this is what I'm trying to say is this is one of the arguments that they present.
Oh, yeah, they present. Okay. Well, again, that's my standpoint on it. It's like I see the circumcision as a non-issue, and maybe it's because I see when the doctor pulls you out of your mom, if you have a penis, you're a boy. If you have a vagina, you're a girl. Now, later on, you grow up and you decide maybe I should have been a woman, or I feel like I should have been a woman. That's on you, but treating babies like they're non-gender until they choose what they want to. No, that's to me, that's indoctrination of what I honestly feel today is a mass psychosis. Scientifically, there are two genders, male and female, and even when I make the argument to people of like transgenderism, it is a male who wants to be identified as female, or a female who wants to be identified as a male. Either way, it still breaks down to two genders. This "I'm a tow truck" shit is bullshit. What you like sexually with your bisexual, pansexual, or whatever, that's not gender. That's your sexuality.
Exactly. Isn't it weird that transgender people will be like, I am a man, I am a woman, like I'm a transgender man, I'm a transgender woman. They still identify as one or the other. But they do add the transgender to that. But, okay, well, what are you going to do? I mean, if you want to be a man, be a man. You want to be a woman, be a woman. So there's so many, like, men and women that don't even act like their genders nowadays. I mean, like, look at women, like, feminist women, like, oh my God, can you be any more manly? Like barking at people and fighting people, and oh my God. Like, hello, if this man wants to dress up and be a woman and wear makeup and do womanly things, please, like, we need more women in this world that act like ladies.
Just like this wordplay that they want to play with, but like, you're assuming my gender, you should refer to me as Zim or Zer or Z or Zoo or what other made up stupidity they want to throw at you. Look, you're he or her. You want me to use they, I'll use they, because that's gender neutral, sure. But I'm not going to use made up words to placate your ego. I'm sorry.
I think that started in Canada, and that started with Justin Trudeau. That was making this liberal movement into gender identity with the Zim and the Zer and all that stuff. Chad, you must remember that from a few years ago. He actually had a whole list of proper pronouns to call people. Actually,
there was a bill that was passed probably 3.5 months ago, Bill C-16, which makes it now a microaggression to intentionally misgender somebody. Furthermore, if your little child comes home from school and says, Mommy, I'm not Michaela no more, I'm Mike, and if you refuse to honor that decision, the CPS can come in and have your child removed.
That's fucking crazy.
They could take my child from my cold, dead hands. I'm sorry. Stuff like that. Like, I love my neighbors up to the north. I'm from the United States. I love my neighbors up to the north. I got no problems with Canada, but you guys keep sending down some of the stupidest shit, like this gender pronoun stuff. Justin Bieber. Like, I blame you guys for that stuff. Okay, but you gave me hockey. You gave me hockey and lacrosse, so I'm okay.
Well, Putin. Well, you gave me freaking Putin. Maple syrup.
That's assuming that's assuming that this gender identity thing did originate in Canada. I don't know, but I do know Bieber's your fault.
Well, in terms of rabbit holes go, the further you examine this, the darker, more occultish it really gets. I mean, you look at the Baphomet, and what do you have there? You have a transgender entity, right? Okay. It's the Baphomet is the male goat god with female breasts.
Wasn't that supposed to be in synchronity of harmony and like the duality of the masculine and the feminine without an actual face to it? So it was supposed to be more of a kind of like balance type of thing that like just it became like drastically misconceived that it's a male and a female, but yeah, it is. But I mean, together in balance is what it's supposed to represent.
Yep. That's all started with the, with the Hermes, and in fact, we take the term hermaphrodite from Hermes, great occultist. What they're doing is they're misinterpreting Genesis, and they believe that the perfect being is androgynous. that before man and women were created, there was a single entity that possessed both qualities, and that was seen as the perfect being.
Yeah, he had 4 arms, 4 legs, and it was a cyclops, I think, or had 4 arms. And yeah, this goes back to ancient Greece mythology. And Zeus was threatened by these beings, so he split them in half, and that's why you have a soul made of a man and a woman, and that's where you're supposed to find like the balance, like from the masculine and the femininity, like within yourself, to be balanced. And yeah, that's why people have half a heart. That's why when you put them together, it has the real shape of a heart. All this other stuff, pretty fascinating. So you're like half a soul walking the earth, is what they're trying to say.
That's right. It's Hermeticism, and that goes way back. Even in the older religions, there's what's known as a Hydra, right? Which is, and you have the sodomite, so the male prostitute whore.
Right.
So it all gets pretty dark really, really quickly, and it enters a realm of incredible cognitive dissonance when you look at the females of today that we think are women, but who are in reality, if you examine their physiology, are transgendered men.
Yeah, see, Nikola Tesla, he never married, and he has I'll find this video for you guys too, but he had this whole reason of why he did not ever marry, and it's because he said that women were superior to men, and they were superior to his intelligence and superior to his being, but women were downing themselves down from their entitlement and their power of being divine feminine beings slowly. And that was like what, 1900s? Like, look at us now. We're like, we have no female superiority. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, women have the pussy, women have the power, and we are a lot smarter than men. We're just too stupid to fucking realize it, because men make more money than us. Men do that. Well, let men go out and work. You stay at home. I'll come over for mimosas, and we'll do whatever the hell we want all day.
Well, here's the funny thing to realize is that women can literally change the world because they set the standard of what men do. Basically, no man will do anything if it weren't for the women. What man would do anything if it weren't for women?
Exactly. Money would be useless if it weren't for women to spend it on.
Right. So my question is to you guys is, are women truly setting the standard, or are they being impostered by men who are setting this fake standard for other men?
Men are actually showing women that men are better at being feminist than women. Men are better at being women than women. And I'm not even kidding you. Women are supposed to have this feminism stuff, but a man walks in and he's like, oh, I'm a male feminist. And then he sets the standard higher because he's like, well, I'm a man and I could do it better, whatever you do. It's like, holy fuck, you come in and you take everything away from women. No wonder why this whole feminism shit is corrupt. Because you had to put your big fucking balls in the way and bounce them around and say, no, this is how we're going to do it, and I support it. Because all you have to do is say, I agree with you, women, and then you could make women think whatever you want.
Well, let's be true here. Most of the third wave feminist males don't believe in that bullshit. They're just trying to get laid. They want the women to be looking at them going like, oh, he's so sensitive and he cares about our rights. No, he just wants to get in between your legs.
That's right.
Male feminists are the creepiest people ever. The biggest creepers in the world are male feminists.
Beta males. That's right. Beta males are the most dangerous males out there because they're secret cowards that hate women. I mean, who took Woman of the Year? Caitlyn Jenner. So what is that saying, that men make better women than actual women?
Well, we can
exactly
make that.
What it's saying.
We can make that argument in the news recently with the transgender track star that won the women's track tournament, or the all the women high school and college level wrestlers who wrestled women's division even though they were transgender. And stuff of that nature. And again, they win because they're overwhelmingly physically, and I want to put that in there specifically, physically, strength department wise, usually superior to females, because our bodies were designed that way. Male bodies were designed to be the workhorse. Women's bodies were designed to be more the home body.
Right.
That's just genetics. That's not saying that women can't do what men can do or vice versa. It is just simply fact. Our bodies were made stronger because we were made to be the workload.
If you look at even our water content, it's like what women have 70% water and men have like a bit less than that. We're off balance physically. Like we've got titties, hanging us down, pulling us forward. I mean, you're not going to find a man like that. A man is built stealth. Like he's built big, like to stand properly. And women are kind of more flimsy little things. They're delicate little feminine flowers, okay? They're supposed to be taken care of. And as much as women want to say, well, I want to go out and work and stuff, fine. Like you can go out and work. You could do whatever the hell you want. But don't forget at the end of the day how much you're complaining because your hands hurt, because your feet hurt, and your boss was a dick to you. If you want to live in a man's world, you're going to have to man the fuck up.
Brian, just to catch up on Brian here, who's been with us for the whole entire chat, says you can't get rid of the Y chromosome, going back to our conversation about like men and women, and the more than two genders argument. He says, I'm a tow truck. That's what he identifies as. A man with breasts. You've never been to Golden Corral in Wichita, Kansas. It's not lying. You go to any of these buffets, you pretty much see men with breasts all the time. And he's picking on me because I said load when I was saying workload. An episode about penises, and I'm talking about load.
I've actually seen a man with boobies, and it was something that happened to him because his hormones changed from smoking too much weed, and he grew tits because of it.
Yeah, that's a lie.
I shit you not.
Yeah. But the fact is, cannabis doesn't possess any estrogen-mimicking molecules, none whatsoever. But what does is the inside liner of every canned product that you buy out there, it's lined with bisphenol A. And the more acidic the contents, thus, the more it leaches the can liner. And basically, then you have atrazine, which is a herbicide sprayed on all our fruits and vegetables that are literally turning the frogs gay. I mean, that's not just an Alex Jones rant. There is a chemical like that named atrazine, which is more powerful than bisphenol A. And all these are estrogen-mimicking hormones. Yeah, that's pretty frightening in itself. And then you have the energy drink, all those energy drinks out there, Monster and Red Bull, and they contain a synthetic compound, taurine, which is a synthetic bull sperm, and basically converts itself in the body as a testosterone mimicking hormone. So it seems like we're all being transgendered.
It's kind of. I didn't mean. I know. I was probably heard on the stream. I didn't mean to laugh, but when you were saying about the synthetic bull sperm in sports drinks and energy drinks, the first thought I went to was an episode of South Park where they were passing off Butters. The character Butters is special happy juice. Basically, he would have wet dreams, and they were bottling it and selling it as a sports drink. So when you were saying synthetic bull,
far from the truth.
Yeah. So when you were saying synthetic bull sperm, all I thought of was like the image of Tom Brady drinking Butters' special happy juice, swallowing a little 8-year-old's cum.
Why is it in there? What's the purpose of having that synthetic testosterone mimicking chemical amino acid? What is it doing there? Is it flavoring? There's no specific reason. And for all the different chemicals they could have used to line the cans, they pick bisphenol A. It's very puzzling. It's same as the herbicides. I mean, they can use straight out cedar oil as a herbicide, works perfectly, but no, they use atrazine.
See, I thought Red Bull was named Red Bull because they actually used bull sperm when it first came out in Red Bull.
You have ruined me ever having another Jaeger bomb in my life. I swear to God.
The alcohol counters all the effects, okay?
The fact that I even know there's sperm in there is going to make me never drink it again.
Well, it's a synthetic compound, is what it is, but it mimics testosterone, and that's the issue there.
Look, a woman's dildo is a synthetic penis. I still don't want to be slapped in the face with it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
They also use it as vibrators to release muscle tension in your back and in your neck. So just saying. It all depends on how you can use it. Like anything could be a dildo if you're brave, but a dildo can be used for anything else if you know what you're doing.
Well, on that note, let's go ahead and get to our sponsor.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back in a few minutes. Let's just go ahead and get this commercial out of the way, and we'll be back in probably moving on to, I assume, Venus's next penis subject. Hopefully it won't be that hard.
Penis. Oh, God.
We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Dave from the Comic Collection at 83 Bustleton Pike in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. Our phone number is 215-357-3332. We are right next to Northeast Philadelphia. We have action figures, gaming, statues, and say hello. And say that the guys from Radiocast FM Radio sent you. The address again is 83 Bustleton Pike, Feasterville, Pennsylvania, or call 215-357-3332.
Wow.
And we are back with your host, Venus.
Hello. So, back to penis.
Dr. Penis.
Back to penis. How come I honestly have a maturity problem. All right. So, speaking of penises, men and women, only men can have a penis unless you're a transgender woman becoming a man, and then you can have a penis. Let's talk about, what was that disease called again, Chad, with the XXY chromosomes?
Well, it's Klinefelter syndrome,
Klinefelter. Yeah, so people can be born a man, but not know he has two X chromosomes and a Y, so he could be a female, but if he identifies as a male or a female, it's up to him, pretty much.
Yeah, but it's not considered as a third gender because it is a chromosomal mutation. And, by which it can't reproduce. It won't be reproduced to the next generation because mutations are not found in the sex gene.
Well, is this a physical abnormality? Are we talking about like the people that are born with both sets of genitalia, or is this just literally like a female trapped in a man's body type deal?
Oh, well, it depends if you want to speak on a psychological or physiological level. Right, because psychology, as it is now, they're turning sex into a subjective horse and pony show, where you can wake up and just claim that you're a tow truck or a woman, right? They're turning everything very subjective, and they're basically, saying science doesn't exist, objectivity is no longer a thing. We're going into some kind of trance, it seems.
Feelings are more important than facts, yeah.
So what happens with this syndrome is a man can be born a man, and he could go through pretty much his entire life not having any problems except for probably or possibly some erectile dysfunction. And then find out that it's because he's got an extra feminine chromosome. So he doesn't even feel like a woman. He still feels like a man. He just has penis problems. Is one thing that could happen from my understanding of this syndrome.
Now, is this a rare thing?
Yeah, it's very rare, yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a mutation, but I mean, like how often does it even present itself? Are we talking like a 1 in 10,000 people or more, or is this more common than that?
You'll find this different statistics, but basically 0.03% of the population are, present any kind of hermaphroditic issues. It's a very low rate. It's a very low number. But essentially, if you're going to entertain a condition such like that, whether it be, psychological. That's like saying that if your uncle heard voices on the radio telling him what to do, that you're supposed to agree with him. And that's Jordan Peterson's argument, and as well as Ben Shapiro. They're saying, well, they're just not going to change, objective reality and replace it with subjective fantasies. And with compelled speech laws in Bill C-16, like they say, they made it against the law. Now it's considered a microaggression to misgender somebody.
Well, see, I don't want to step away. I don't want to step away from the subject matter at hand. But that's the second time you used a phrase that I absolutely despise: microaggression.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm going to give you a microaggression right now. Man up.
Yeah, that's the Canadian thing now. That's the Canadian liberal term, basically, and that's what they're trying to say. That
it's down here too.
Is that right? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That's out the window now. Now names do hurt people, and you could be held liable for it. It's insane.
Yeah, it's down here too. Maybe not to the extent of like laws being passed where people can actually serve prison time or fines, but things like microaggression, the word microaggression, and people feeling like they've been violated because they've been microly aggressed against, is down here too, and it's the dumbest freaking thing. Grow a set and just move on with your life. You know how many times a day I get insulted by somebody or offended by somebody or how they act or how they dress, and like I just shrug and move on with my life? Seriously, come on.
Don't forget that, you dummy. You're dumb.
It's
Is that the biggest one?
Oh my God, it's so stupid. Like I'll be straight up with you. People who wear their pants half off their ass and leave their skid-marked underwear showing offends the living shit out of me. Am I supposed to walk up to them and bitch that they're microaggressing against me by forcing me to look at their fucking shit-stained underwear? No, fucking move on with life. Maybe they have a
disability and can't wipe their ass properly, so you know what? You're in the wrong again.
They have a disability that their parents never taught them at 2 years old how to pull their pants up. That's their disability.
Yeah, you're right, and this is unfortunately the agenda that's being pushed right now. I mean, if you look at Celine Dion's new clothing line, it's very scary.
Very Illuminati based.
What is the clothing line? I don't know anything about this.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, it's just gender neutral. So, which is great for like if you're gonna have a newborn baby and you don't want to know what gender it is. I think it's a great idea, but it's gender neutral because she wants kids to help find their identity. But if you're going to put them all in the same category, they're identityless.
Well, I argue that it goes beyond just wanting a child to decide. I mean, if you look at the clothing styles, you have skull onesies, which is very strange, and you have shirts. They're basically the colors are white, black, and yellow with things like New Order on them, and pyramids and whatnot, and pentagrams. It's downright spooky, and if you watch her commercial, it's just right creepy. She walks into a hospital, she blows black powder on these kids, and they all turn into little black and white babies wearing the clothing line with little demons coming out of their cribs. Very bizarre.
It's creepy as all fuck. Yeah, you'll have to Google it. You can find it right away.
Oh Celine Dion. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to. I might have nightmares.
It's a little bit traumatizing.
Oh my God.
And then you have the UN program that is pushing equality. Well, whatever happened to embracing differences? I mean, differences is what make men and women beautiful. And who wants equality? Nobody with any ounce of sanity. That's who. Well,
see, that's the thing. That's the thing I've been arguing about for the longest time with these people that talk about equality. And you're absolutely right. There's equality in embracing each other's cultural or ethnical or sexual differences. I embrace the fact that women are able to give life. That's something I can never do. I'm genetically unable to do so. That makes them special to me because they can do something I can't do. I could be standing up. That makes me a god to women. I mean, we have
things for that now.
You're welcome. Like there's so many different things that should be celebrated for the differences. It doesn't mean inequality. That just simply means there's something special about me that is not so, that maybe you don't have, but you have something that I don't have. And that's a beautiful thing. What is wrong with equality through diversity as opposed to just making everybody one pile of mush that is indistinguishable from anybody else?
See, that's what used to be like one of the great things, like going back to high school, is like we could call people like, yo, hey, blondie, or yo, hey, guy with the accent or something. And it wasn't ever to make fun of anyone. It was because that's what was different about you. That's what stood out about you. And you knew that was you when people were talking to you. And nobody took it offensive because that was their uniqueness.
Again, we're back on subjects that I just don't get. I don't get the argument of inclusiveness. I don't see what is so bad about diversity. We're not talking about separation diversity. We're talking about a diversity of ideals or culture or sexual, not sexual. That's not the term I'm looking for. Biological differences. That's not a terrible thing.
See, you have equal rights. You have equal respect. You're treated as a human. But, like, okay, now you come from India. Like, yeah, that's fascinating to someone in, like, North America. You're from India. You're going to be like that Indian guy from India, right? But that's what's special about you. You're not treated any different. It's, like, that's who you are, and that's what stands out, and that's what you should be proud of. I don't know why people are so scared to be like, don't call me this and don't call me that. Okay, well, that was your uniqueness. That's what made you you. If you don't want that, well, okay, then we'll just call you another log in another pile of fucking logs, okay? Like,
that's it. I want to be an individual just like everybody else. It's really the argument that it becomes now. Oh, show your individuality by standing with us and being exactly as we are. Like, have you ever looked at these people that fight for these? Well, yeah, you ever see these people that are fighting for non-conformity reasons? They all look the same. They all dress the same. They all act the same. They all talk the same. They all look the same. Where is the diversity? What makes you different from the person standing next to you? What makes you special? What makes you stand out? Nothing.
You lost your uniqueness. Like, you're just like everybody else, and that's exactly what it is. It's conformity. Let's conform to this idea so that we can be different. Well, no, okay, you're just like a bunch of like 14-year-olds that are going to join with other 14-year-olds and be like, let's go be like a bunch of badass 14-year-olds. Okay, well, now you're all a bunch of badass 14-year-olds, not just one of you and not just on your own terms, but on everybody else's terms.
Brian says for his cultural diversity, just call me the guy with the 4 tennis balls and a sock hanging down.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I think somebody's projecting. I think they're going to be buying a sports car in a couple of years to compensate. Love you, Brian. I'm sorry, but we were talking about XXY chromosomes. We kind of went off a tangent here. We were talking about XXY chromosomes.
We were. That was
until we went off on that little tangent. I went off on that. I'm sorry. I have a habit of doing that. Sorry,
it had to be said. Okay, had to be said.
Brian, you want me to prove it? If you know this because we're both ex-military. All right. If you a man, put it in my hand.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm expecting a Wating with a dick pic that I would never expect to have. So, or he's going to send me a picture of 4 tennis balls in a tube sock. One of the two. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I've got nothing to say now. Speaking of penis size.
There we
go. So, yes, next topic. Speaking of penis size. So this guy in Mexico, 54-year-old. Let me see if I can find his name here. I saved this somewhere. Apparently I didn't save it.
I'm looking for it in the chat.
Oh, Jesus. That's not what I'm looking for.
It's over in this chat. Here we go. Large.
Anyways.
I'm pulling it up. Go ahead, and I'll let you know what the name is as soon as I have it up.
Okay, so anyways, he's got the world's largest penis, suspectedly, at 19 inches, and it's considered a handicap because he can't get on his knees and he can't fit into work pants.
Roberto Cabrera from northern Mexico, and he has an 18.9-inch penis.
Oh, there we go. So, that's a lot of tennis balls, Brian.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So, what do men even do with penises like that? Like, it's obviously causing them issues. He can't work because of it.
Well, I would imagine, like, it would be no different than a woman who has really large breasts. I imagine back pain probably comes involved. But what I don't get is, you know, like, does anybody remember Chinko jeans? And how baggy they were? You could work with a penis that large. Like, to me, this is just an excuse to collect welfare. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised he hasn't pogo sticked over the northern border wall into the United States. That way, he could live on welfare for free for the rest of his life. This sounds like an excuse to me. Plus, like the article says, he could have a reduction, but he refuses to do so. Is your pride in having an 18.9-inch penis stronger than your need to take care of yourself?
Or maybe it's his complete body, so it would violate his right to having his complete body.
That's fair. That is true. That is fair. We were having that conversation earlier. Maybe that is.
Now that point does make sense. It's a little valid now. But what do you do with that? Like, when you're walking around, like, do you stuff it down one pant leg? Or do you, like, flip it up your shirt and, like, don't wear a button-up shirt, obviously? Like, how would you manage that? That's quite large.
Well, to think of it this way, and obviously we're not talking about, like, normal average males having that issue either, but, you know, this is going to sound funny. This is going to come out sounding funnier than I intended to be, and I'm actually being serious about this. We've all had interactions with penises in one way or another. Either we were born with them and, you know, we live with them between our legs every day, or, you know, for women like Venus, you know, you've obviously have interacted with them before in some way, shape, or form. Unless this guy's having, like, erectile issues where he's constantly getting hard, the thing, when it's flaccid, even at 18.9 inches, I mean, the thing's flexible. You could probably tie it in a knot if you wanted to.
Wrap it around your leg.
You wrap it. I wasn't going to say wrap it around your leg, but I'm saying, like, you bend your leg, the penis is going to bend too. Unless you're, you know, constantly erect, then you might want to see a doctor about that. But I mean, I'm again not seeing the issue outside of, if I had it, I'd be throwing it over my shoulder and walking down the street. Hey, ladies, you know, whipping that shit around like Charlie Chaplin with a walking cane. You know what I mean?
You know how to dance like a dancing cobra.
Right.
Look what I could do.
You know, and the only physicality issue that I could see about it really is maybe the weight of it does cause lower back pain. The same as, like, women who have, you know, very large breasts usually complain that they start getting back pain, especially as they get older. You know, so that's the only physicality. I mean, I don't know. I don't live with an 18.9-inch penis. But, I mean, close, but not, you know, exactly. But, I mean, you know, close. About as close as a hot dog to the Grand Canyon. You know, but you know, like, Chad, you're a guy. Am I wrong on this? Like, can you really see anything that would physically block a person from being able to work just because they have an unusually large penis?
No, not at all.
Would you trip over it, like if you're on your knees or something? Like, does it affect the size of your testicles, or is it, like, just your penis?
Well, you know,
if you have bigger boobies, you usually have bigger nipples, right? Usually.
I mean, the main concern with a penis that size, if you get an erection, you might just faint. So.
That is a lot of blood loss.
Right.
I mean, also, too, or what are we talking about in, like, circumference? Like, if we're talking about 18.9 inches, we're talking length. I mean, what if it's like a straw? It's long, but it's thin. You know what I mean? Like, where is the difference? You know what I mean?
Are we talking like make a difference.
Are we talking like a salami, or are we talking, you know, like a tumbleweed tweed? You know, like, you know? Like, there's so many different variations. Like, again, outside of maybe feeling like you're walking around with a water balloon between your legs all day, I really don't see the physical limitation that would block him from being able to even have at least like a sit-down desk job or something like that, barring the fact that he gets, you know, sporadic, out-of-control boners all the time, and every time his secretary walks by, it knocks his desk over. I mean, I don't really see where it would hinder him.
Okay, but at 54 years old now, because he's 54, right?
Which raises another question. Which raises another question. Has he been on welfare or disability his whole entire life, or is this now just becoming an issue at 54? In which case, where was his complaint for the presumably 54 years prior to? You know what I mean? Or was he enjoying the attention of the señoritas because of how blessed he is? You know?
But he's like be more of like floppier, like at 54, you know, it kind of loses its muscles, like the rest of your body. Would it be more hard to contain if it's floppier?
I don't know. Maybe that's something we would have to look into. Like if something that size would lose its ability to get erect, maybe he's got an XXY chromosome.
No, and it happens to normal men, like with smaller penises at that age. I mean, they have penis problems, like,
and they make a little blue pill for it.
Not only that, I mean, like, it doesn't it wrinkle more, sag a little bit more.
Well, I don't know if it like shrinks or something. Your balls definitely go longer, just like women's boobs. Your balls start fucking touching the floor after a while. But I mean, you know, like the penis, the thing that affects older men with like erections and stuff of that nature is the loss of testosterone. But it's not a physical thing, it's a chemical thing as we're getting older. But again, they make pills for that changes that balance. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You know.
I know, it's getting a little awkward now. Like, how do we judge this like poor man's old like really long penis?
Yeah, poor man. Every male that's listening to this is envious of this motherfucker right now. Poor man. I wish my biggest problem in life is, well, how do I bend over?
Okay.
How do I bend over with this tree trunk between my legs?
Oh, I gotta send you that video I watched earlier. You can put that in the link or comments. I'll put that in the comments below.
There you go.
It's just so over exaggerated. Like, this guy's penis is. It's a fake penis, like, obviously, and he's got like a third leg hole where he's got like it's stuffed or something with something that looks like a penis. And anyways, he's complaining about how terrible it is and that he does pass out when he gets erections and he can't drive a vehicle because he's got to put his penis up on the steering wheel to drive it. So he's been pulled over and cops thought he was driving with a kid on his lap. And I'm like, how ridiculous does this sound? But how like realistic can it actually be if you had an extravagantly large penis?
I don't know. Like, to me, correct me if I'm wrong here, Chad and Venus, you know, because we'll get a female standpoint on this. But correct me if I'm wrong here. But like, having a penis that size would just the problematic that I would see about it is, like, you know, how do you get anybody to fuck you? Like, to me, that's like all show. That's not really like functionality. Like we were talking about before, like anything over 8 inches and you're kind of poking a hole in the cervix, you know, and stuff of that nature, that you actually can't even put your full penis into a person, you know, which means you can't really fully enjoy sexual intercourse. With that being said, like, the average size penis or whatever, wouldn't that be more preferable to women? Or as a guy, wouldn't that be more preferable than just having something that looks great on camera? Sure, but it really kind of ruins your active sex life in the long run.
Well, we never see porn stars with like 12-inch penises fully inserted into a female. So that's pretty accurate right there. I mean, like, I've seen it done, but it was pretty like hardcore, nasty stuff that, you know, you can't really enjoy. You just sit there and you're like, holy fuck, you're like, is this for real?
Well, that's my thought. Like Venus, I'll put it to you like this. Like, if this guy was standing in front of you and is all set to go, you were into fucking him, and he drops his drawers, and you see that anaconda hanging there, are you gonna have second thoughts?
It's not happening. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you're gonna start having second thoughts about that, you know. and
I'm not even trying. I'm just out of there, okay?
Right, and Chad, on the opposite end of the coin, if you're that guy and you're all set to go and you see that type of reaction, wouldn't that be more problematic than having the bragging rights of the fact that you have a 20-inch dick?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very content with what I got, and that's fine with me. Yeah, I have no desire of having a freakishly large penis like that unless I wanted to run a circus career myself.
Right? See the man on the flying trapeze. He's not even using his hands.
Good Lord. Also, I find that women, we talk about, like, our boyfriend's penises and our husband's penises, you know, if we've got a husband or men that we've been with. And, you know, we all like the, like, allure of like a bigger penis, like, oh my god, like that thing's huge. We all like that. It's like a fantasy thing, but seriously, the men that we end up like marrying and dating are like average sized men.
Well, like, it kind of goes back to the statement. It's not the size, it's how you use it. Yeah, the trophy of a large member, sure, maybe bragging rights to your friends, but at the end of the day, it's you're gonna continue to fuck the guy that fucks you right. Yeah, I know. Exactly. I'm being a little vulgar with it, but I mean, he could have a 2-inch penis, but if that 2 inches is working it the right way, then he's the right guy for you. It don't matter.
Yeah, like, men with bigger penises don't know how to have sex. I'm not, okay, like, not to hate on any man with a big dick, but learn how to fucking use it.
It all lasts about 5 minutes anyway.
It does. And why do men with bigger penises all love anal? That's like all their fantasies is anal. And it's like, you're going to destroy my vagina and you think you're getting that in my ass? Like, no. I guess that's why it's a fantasy, because it ain't happening.
That's it. It's a fantasy. Yeah.
You guys are all quiet. Like, what am I hearing?
Well,
this is an R-rated show, so.
True, but we're just fascinated by getting a in-depth look into your psyche and mind frame right now, because your first thought about a large penis is automatically about, why do they want anal?
They all do, though, and it's like you know you're not. It's why, like, that's gonna destroy everything, like every part of a woman. Like, you don't even understand. It's like, you're so big, there's no way you could possibly complain about a loose pussy. Okay, there is no fucking way.
Well, look,
like that thing.
You know what? I'm gonna defend women here on this one, because guys always talk about, like, if they're large or you know, girth wise, if they're really, you know, girthy and shit like this. And I can say this because I've watched my children born. You ain't doing shit to that body, dude, okay? You ain't tearing nothing up. You ain't broke it in half. You ain't done none of that shit. I seen that pass a human being and go back into shape, okay? You ain't doing shit.
No, and you know what? The more comfortable a woman is having sex, the looser she's going to be. That's what it is. Like, if a woman's, like, super tight, she could naturally be, the vagina's a muscle. And she could be, like, super enjoying it and be tight as all fuck. But if she's looser, she could just be enjoying it and have naturally tight pussy, but you make her feel comfortable. And you're going to go around and, like, start, like, shaming her because her pussy was loose. Well, you know what? You made her feel good, and now you're being a dick about it. Like, what the hell is wrong with men?
Well, you know, like most men, of course, I like a nice tight area. But I mean, if she's relaxing her muscles and it's loose, guess what? You last longer.
True that.
Where's the problem? Okay, there's a little room in there. Cool. You're not gonna blow your load in 30 seconds like a freaking 13-year-old going through puberty who just got shoved into the women's bathroom. Again, maybe I have a different mentality than the world for some reason, but I don't get it.
Well, women are like more than just physical creatures when it comes to sex. Like, they need their minds being made love to. Like, they need their emotions being like played with the right way. They need all that stuff. So if you're doing that right before you even get your penis in, like, her vagina is going to be ready for that.
No, you're absolutely right. And again, that's going back to the conversation we had about cultural diversity, if you will, which is a beautiful thing. Is men are more physical when it comes to sexuality. Like, we get more turned on by the action, the act of doing, the how the woman looks and stuff of that nature. Women on the opposite end of the coin are more sexually stimulated by, like you said, emotional attachment, mental attraction, and stuff of that nature. It's more than just the physicality of the guy.
Like,
that stimulates
we'll enjoy
them.
your physicalness, but when you take the time and you make us feel good and give us that back rub and like stimulate us every other way before you even touch our vaginas, like, we're gonna have the best orgasms. And I don't know what man does not get off on getting a woman off. So take your time, put in some little effort, tell her she's beautiful, touch her hand, buy her some fucking roses, cook her dinner. Tell her she looks beautiful in the dress, do shit like that. She's more likely to have a better time in bed with you then, which means you're going to have a better time in bed.
Well, in fairness, too, there are some guys out there that would probably agree with the statement in Chasing Amy, if you guys are familiar with the movie, where it's like women could direct guys, too, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes women expect men to know, and each person is different. What gets your juices flowing may be different from what gets somebody else's juices flowing. You know what I mean? And the guy's not a mind reader. He's not going to know that. So what's wrong with being the guy in the runway with the two things saying, go here, left this way, right that way, right there? Direct him a little bit. You want the pleasure out of this too, so why sit there and suffer through him bumbling his way through and hoping he finds the right spot, or direct him to the right spot?
Some men are just like that. They think they're like God's gift to women. And honestly, they couldn't even give a woman an orgasm if they were using a toy on her. Okay, like, they just don't know what they're doing. And it's because they give what they think they want. Like, yeah, women enjoy the nice quick fuck every once in a while, but, she's got to be treated good. Like the 5-minute fucks and everything, yeah, they're cool. They might do it, here and there, but you got to mix it up a little bit too.
Yes, ladies. This is the ladies and gentlemen. This is the educational portion of the show. Take notes. Foreplay a must. Chad, you're awfully quiet, man. You're making me kind of nervous over here.
Yeah, just kind of sitting here and listening to this.
Hopefully
he's taking notes.
Hopefully he's at least enjoying the conversation. Anything to add?
No.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we live in an instant-made society, with fast food restaurants and cake and craft dinner from a box, and it's transferring into the world of human sexuality too. But there is no more foreplay. It's Tinder in bed. Just get her done and swipe left. Say goodnight. It's very odd.
And that's why people are so unsatisfied with relationships, with sex, with everything in life. Like, you seriously need good sex in your life in order to live a sufficient and wholesome life.
Well, you know what? You shared a meme on Facebook that is very, very true, and it plays into what Chad said earlier. In a generation and a world we live in now where, we all get achievements for playing video games. Like, some video games will give you an achievement just for turning the game on. Or, we live in the world of public opinion where everything has to be shared on Facebook. Like, gee, let me take a picture on Instagram of my dinner and get your guys' approval from it. the meme you shared, I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't have it up in front of me at the moment, but like if a woman agrees to have sex with you, keep it to yourself. If the dude sends you a dick pic, keep it to yourself. Like, there's nothing wrong with keeping your personal life personal, your private life private. And maybe part of what's going on in today's society is the fact that we do live in a world where everybody needs instant approval from everybody else, including strangers from around the world. Like, oh, look at this guy's dick, or oh, this is the guy I'm with, or whatever else, and they wait for everybody's approval and opinions on it. Fuck y'all. Y'all ain't got to live with the guy or the girl. That's none of your freaking business.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, it kind of plays off what Chad said. It's fast food mentality. Everything has to be instant gratification, to the point of you need people to pat you on the back because some dude showed interest in you or some girl showed interest in you. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely is.
Sorry, but that had to be said.
Like, yeah, it's all fine and dandy to like talk about, like sex and sexuality and everything else in general, but you don't come to the table and it's like, well, last night, guys, guess what? It's like, wow, you just don't expose some of that stuff. Like, yeah, people can know you're like, I'm pretty open sexually. People are aware of this. I mean, but they don't know every detail of my sexual life. I mean, like, I could talk about sex freely, but I mean, like, in today's age, I mean, somebody's got to, besides the point of, I did this, I did this, I did that, and high five. No, okay, whoa. Like, you're thinking about this all wrong, okay? Like, especially when you want to start bringing people into it. Like, if they're not there, you don't mention people's names. Leave them the fuck out of your shit.
Well, that's exactly it. Are you fucking that person? No? Then it's none of your fucking concern.
Like, it's all, like, you can share with your friends, yeah. This happened, that happened. But who it was with, like, they're not there, you don't mention them. It'll save people a lot of fucking problems in the long run.
It really would. And especially going back to what I said, let your private life be private. What you and your partner, whoever that partner may be, whatever your relationship is, however you allow it to progress, whether it's a good relationship or a bad relationship, that's between you two. If it goes terrible, yeah, of course, talk to your closest friends, but don't be posting the shit up on social media and getting the power of public opinion, because that's going to sway you rather than fixing the problem, if the problem can be fixed. That's why relationships end so fast nowadays.
Yeah, you're always a better person than this, and you don't need that. No, you need to man the fuck up. You care about that person. Get back over there and fix your shit.
I mean, if I'm off base, let me know. But I think that's why, like, our parents and our grandparents had relationships that lasted, because that was between them. They dealt with it. People didn't just automatically go, well, this, my husband and I had an argument, our first argument ever. This is just not working. I'm going to get a divorce and go fuck his friend. I mean, it's like, it's just, it's instant satisfaction. Everybody expects to get that Cinderella fairy tale ending from the moment they meet a person, and one bump in the road is, oh my God, it's a disaster, everything's wrong. And of course, you got all the friends on social media who half of them haven't even met you before, are sitting there like, oh my God, he's such an asshole, or she's such a bitch, and blah, 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 blah. You fought about where to go for dinner. This is not a world-changing event.
So you degrade the person that you're supposed to have feelings for. You degrade them. You socially drag their name through the mud. And you expect them to love you? Like, no. Like, that's not how you treat anyone in any relationship. That's not how you treat your friend. That's not how you treat your dog. Okay? Like, address your issues with this person. Or, like, vent to your best friend. Because you guys all have issues. If your girlfriend has a boyfriend and you have a boyfriend, I mean, you're going to have relationship issues. And you know what? You're probably having some of the same issues, and it's like just good to sit there with your friend and motherfucker this and motherfucker that, and plan his murder, plan both their murders, and then get drunk and forget about it all.
But you brought up a good point. Of course, it's a great thing to vent, but vent to your friend. Don't vent to the world. The world don't need to know.
Absolutely.
Or bring it on a podcast like we're doing right now.
Well, yeah, it's pretty generalized though. Like, I don't think I would come in here and be like anybody's name or anything. Like, even screenshots of arguments I have with people on Facebook. I'll screenshot your fucking conversation, okay, buddy? But your name is getting blocked out. For one, you don't deserve that fame, and for two, fuck you.
Let that be a lesson to every person listening to who has Venus on their Facebook or Instagram or something. You send a dick pic, 9 times out of 10, it's going to wind up on a feed somewhere. Think about it before you send it.
You'll be confidential, though. It will be confidential. Whether you have a nice penis or an ugly penis, you're not getting that gratitude. You're not getting that recognition. You're not getting that.
Oh, shit.
If you want to, like, step up and say, that's my penis, that's on you. But nobody knew it was your penis before you said anything.
But just be known, you act like an asshole. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go up for everybody to see.
Oh, yes. The poor, unfortunate world of their own demise. Oh.
Well, just to let you know, we're at an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say anything. Anybody have anything else, Dad?
Well, my final thought on this would be a quote from Terence McKenna. He's the father of psychedelic research, if you don't know. It's quite awesome if you YouTube Terence McKenna. And his quote is that culture is not your friend. And I agree with him, because it seems like social media has turned into cultural-based programming to turn us into narcissistic, unspiritualized individuals. You know, who are, like you said earlier, are just there for self-reassurance and approval of others. And that's narcissism. That's pride onto the self.
Low self-esteem on top of that.
That's what it feeds, right? That's right.
And when it breaks down, that it fits very much to the whole entire topic of conversation about penises on this episode, because most males place their self-esteem on their genitalia, whether, you know, how good they are in bed or how big they are. It kind of fits in that aspect that you look for that, you beg for that approval, and you shy away, and your esteem is shattered if somebody doesn't view your genitalia in the way that you think it should be viewed.
Well, then you shouldn't be sharing it everywhere, right?
Well, understand what I'm saying is, like, I don't mean necessarily like a dick pic. I'm saying, like, you're with a girl and, you know, she's fucking you, you've been around for a while, and then you guys break up, and then all of a sudden she's talking about how small your penis is. She's doing it to be hurtful, but here's the thing. It actually is being hurtful to him, because it's destroying his ego, because for some reason his ego is generalized to that area. Like, you tell him he's got a terrible job, he shrugs it off. You tell him he's got crooked teeth, he shrugs it off. You tell him he's got a small dick, it destroys his world. It really does.
Yeah. But you know what? When women break up with men like that, like, he doesn't even need to have a small penis. We're just going to degrade him, because for some reason we're always hurt when we feel degraded and used in the relationship and it didn't work out. And that's all the leverage we have against you, is you had a small penis. Do you know how many of our friends are going to be interested in finding out if he actually does have a small penis? So I wouldn't take that to heart, because now everyone is interested in your penis.
But not for the reasons they hope to have it. But, you know, it still goes back to what Chad was saying about, you know, instant gratification and narcissism. Is the penis very much is a symbol of narcissistic gratification to many, many men. So it's very fitting to what he was saying from that quote. You know, the same as the echo chamber of social media is the echo chamber of believing that we have a large penis because our girlfriend thinks so, and we can brag about it to our friends, and then she publicly announces that you have a small dick. It destroys your world. You know what I mean?
Listen to women. Women are lying, evil, satanistic, demonic creatures. We will lie to you. Like, I don't even know how many women have told me we pulled the, oh my God, it's so big line on a guy that was not even that sufficiently huge. And yeah, after a breakup, you all have small penises.
It's just a standard argument, guys. Don't take it to heart. And
Absolutely not.
seriously, exit the echo chamber. Live your own life and fuck what anybody else thinks. That's my point of view to it. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that wraps it up.
That wraps it up. Literally, all pun intended.
Pun intended. Actually, speaking of, remember, if you're going to go out and use your penis tonight, bring some protection with you.
Always use protection.
If you're going to masturbate, at least use a rubber glove. It's easier to clean up.
Use a tube sock. Fuck.
Now, fuck that. Some people have used tube socks so much that them things can get up and walk on their own.
Good lord, they stick to the wall afterwards.
Grab somebody's cum rag and it just sounds like a bunch of fucking papers being ripped in half and you try to bend it. Yeah.
Oh god, these are all things I have to look forward to with having a little boy. Good lord.
It's a common, literally and figuratively.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. God damn it. All right. I guess we should end it there. I think it's over now. Okay, guys.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, share, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Anchor FM/ROTM-Entertain. And, of course, you can find us at Realm of the Mist Entertainment on Spotify now. And, of course, guys, you can find us here every Monday night for Realm of the Mist podcast every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tuesdays will now be devoted to Venus and her It Had to Be Said show. I believe we're going to continue to be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that, or is that still in?
Hey, well, I mean, yeah, it's not really mandatory. I mean, shit happens, but
No,
yeah, we'll work around the times.
Okay.
We'll shoot for then.
And then, of course, don't forget also that we will have War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast tomorrow night with host John Martoli as we dive into more of the women of Star Wars and we take a close personal look at the mother of Princess Leia, Padme Amidala. So make sure you tune in for that.
Ooh, sounds hot. All right. Thank you so much, Chad Severin, for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no problem at all. Been cool.
If you want any stalkers, you can leave your personal information now so they can find you.
No, thank you.
They got your name. They can find you on Facebook.
Sad. Notice that. Yeah.
All right. And yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Venus Chan, or my backup account, Solar Nova. Skype is Venus Uncensored, Instagram Venus Uncensored, and Chris?
You can find me on all the social medias under Christopher Michael Stolley, and of course you can find me right here on Realm of the Mist.
Same. All right. Okay, now cut.
Guys, thank you very much, and you have yourself a wonderful night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.